Greetings, adventurers, and welcome to ADVinJapan. I believe this marks the first time where I'm actually directly addressing you guys without my helmet on or some kind of covering on or anything like that. I typically don't like to do that because you guys know this channel is all about me showing you guys Japan through my eyes. Plus, you don't want to stare at my ugly mug, right? The other reason is, of course, I'm doing a helmet review today. I'm going to be reviewing my Airoh Commander helmet. This is the Commander 1. The Commander 2 has just come out, and I'll kind of be comparing this helmet with that helmet in the later parts of this. But before I get into that, you guys, I wanted to go ahead and give you guys a channel update. It's been about a month since I put up my last video. And there's a huge reason for that. Those of you guys that have been following me on social media know that I have been dealing with some pretty bad tendinitis. It's been really, really bad. Not my first rodeo with this stuff. I've had tendinitis in the past before, but this has been certainly probably the worst bout that I've gone through. So, if you're more interested in the helmet review, go ahead and skip the channel update. If you guys want to know what's going on with the channel and stuff like that, kind of some of the things I'm going to be doing here pretty soon, then definitely stick around as we're going to go ahead and get into it. Okay, so again, those of you that have been following me on the social medias, you know that I've got some pretty bad tendinitis. I've just been trying to nurse it for the last month or so. It's been crazy long. This usually doesn't last but more than maybe two weeks, but this one has been particularly nasty on me. So just doing everything I can. You know, I've got compression sleeves, I got compression wrists kind of things here. I've got a compression shirt on too. I'm taking glutamine as well as some amino acids to quicken up the healing process. This is what I usually take when I do my workouts and whatnot, but yeah, it's been rough. You know, some of you guys know I'm a gym rat. I'm in the gym all the time. I'm super fit. I'm super in shape. So it wasn't the bike. It wasn't anything that I've been doing for the last 2 to 3 years regularly. It just was. I think it was the editing. To be honest, it was the Hokkaido editing. I was spending about 15 to 20 hours per video in editing, just sitting in this place, like just going at it, crazy. 15 to 20 hours per video, spread over, of course, a couple days. But I didn't have a right chair, I didn't have a keyboard tray, so I was bent over. It just wasn't in the right posture, and yeah, that just did it. Just totally screwed me up, and it's going to take some time to get back to it, but certainly I'm looking forward to getting back in the saddle and doing some more videos. So with that, I wanted to share with you guys kind of what's going on, what I'm going to be doing with the channel here pretty soon. So I've got a series that I would like to do that was requested by a regular subscriber and viewer of the channel. He mentioned he watched my recent video, the fall compilation video, and wanted to get my thoughts on kind of the gear that I use to help prevent the falls from being as bad as they could. That includes what I'm wearing, but also, some of the stuff that I put on my bike, the equipment I put on my bike to give me that peace of mind. And so I got to thinking, and I've had another video on the back burner for quite some time that deals with, basically showing you guys a really awesome workout that's designed specifically for adventure riders. Again, as I mentioned before, I'm kind of a gym rat. I love getting into the gym, just staying in shape. And so I devised a workout that is specifically designed to help build the muscles and strengthen the joints that are most often used during adventure riding. And it's especially going to be helpful for us older riders. As we get old, things just don't work the same way they used to. And it's important that we keep these joints, these muscles moving, greased, oiled, and working all the time so we don't get injured. And so I figured I'd go ahead and throw that in with a series. So I've got another idea too. So it's going to be a 3-part series where I'll begin talking about some of the gear and the equipment that I use on my bike. And then after that, I'll probably release a video on some fall techniques. You guys know I'm really good at falling. I'm particularly in the area of my riding skill, intermediate level, where I'm falling the most. And to be honest, I think the intermediate level is probably where you do fall the most. And I say that because in the beginner levels, when you're really kind of just getting your feet wet on the motorcycle, you're so cautious that you don't want to fall, that you really don't go fast. You take many, many precautions to make sure that you don't fall. Oftentimes you don't put your feet on the pegs. But I'm at a place where I'm kind of intermediate, where I don't mind falling. Like I've gotten used to it. I understand that falling is part of the learning process. And through this like plethora of me falling, I've kind of figured out a really good way to fall, like some of the best ways to dismount the bike when you know that the bike is going down. And I've also consulted a friend of mine who is a black belt in Aikido. As you know, Aikido is kind of a defensive martial arts, and they actually specialize quite a bit in tumbling, like taking falls really, really well. So I did I got some advice from him as well too, and that kind of explains my kind of tuck and roll that I often do in my falls that you guys see. So I'll be doing that video, and then for the final series, I'll go ahead and introduce that workout program that I have. Beyond that, you guys, in the next couple months here, I'm going to be doing my preparation for Shikoku, the fourth major island in Japan. And this is going to be down south. It's going to be warmer, so I'll be doing this during March, and it should be pretty cool. I'm going to be hitting up quite a few different spots on the way. I'll be doing Mount Fuji. I'll also be stopping in by Kyoto as well, and taking some pretty beautiful footage there. And then finally, for kind of the climax, I will be going into Shoto Island, which is well known in Japan as kind of the shoyu or soy sauce island, and that's because there are a ridiculous amount of factories on that island that produce soy sauce. So I got a friend down there that I've done some interpreting work with in the past, and he's invited me to come down there and take a look at his factory. Is crazy old, but it should be pretty exciting. I've got a couple other riders, expat riders that I'm in contact with too, that may join me on that ride part of the way down. So it should be a pretty exciting little adventure. I'm hoping to, surpass Hokkaido. That's the goal. I want to give you guys an entertaining experience that will definitely surpass what Hokkaido was. By the way, I really appreciate all the support from Hokkaido. You guys have really just said some amazing, beautiful comments that I think are way over the top. I mean, there's no way my stuff is as good as Itchy Boots or some of the other things you guys have said. It's just crazy. I do really appreciate the comments, and I'm going to keep this going as long as I can. Okay, that was a long channel update, but it is what it is, right? I hope to be back in the saddle again here pretty soon, and I will keep you guys updated on my condition. Anyways, for the meantime, I'm going to be doing kind of some low-key videos. Today's video is not going to have any bells or whistles, as far as the editing goes, because I just can't sit in this chair and do editing for that long. It just kills my arms. But what I will do is I will go over the key components of this helmet, and at the end, I'll give you my final recommendation on whether or not to pick up this helmet. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the helmet review. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this review. Again, this is the Airoh Commander 1. The Airoh Commander 2 is coming out here pretty soon, so I figured it would be a great time to go ahead and review the Commander 1. A lot of times when you get the second iteration coming out, a lot of people will go and purchase the first one because, it's obviously going to become cheaper. So good timing on that. Hopefully you guys can watch this video and be better informed about whether or not to purchase this helmet. Now today I'm going to be going over several different categories. I'm going to start with safety first, along with the weight and build quality. Fit and comfort, I'm going to talk about the visor and the shield. Ventilation, noise levels, style and design, additional features that set this helmet apart from others. Price and value, and then some of the pros and cons. And then I'm going to go ahead and finally compare this to the Commander 2. Just to give you guys an idea of how long I've had this helmet, so I have had this for about 6 months now, and I've put about 45, maybe about 5,000 kilometers on this helmet, most of which I did in Hokkaido. So this thing has been through it all, it's been through pretty much the hottest and the coldest parts of Japan. So in summer, we're looking anywhere from, 32 all the way up to upwards of 40 degrees outside. I rode some pretty freaking hot days in this helmet. And then, of course, I also have ridden in some pretty cold days too as well. So I think today's review certainly will be able to give you guys a really informed kind of all-season review for this helmet. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it first. So safety. The Airoh Commander, this is a great helmet. It certainly prioritizes safety, and that's because it's built with a composite shell, which is definitely stronger than what some of the more cheaper helmets around this price point are, or even cheaper. It is not carbon. It is a composite, though, and that means it's going to be lightweight and relatively safe as well too. This helmet comes in at about 1,400 grams, I believe. As you can see on the inside of the helmet here, you do have quite some nice plush inserts that I'll be going ahead and showing you guys those as well too. They are quite tight though. I'll be getting that into that when I talk about the fitment. But yeah, overall build quality and safety, this is, it's a great helmet. It's EC certified 22.05. That's the European standard, which is actually said to be, I think, more robust than the DOT. At least that's kind of the consensus online. The DOT certification. It is not certified for Japan. If it were, it would have on the back of it, you would see there would be a little sticker here that says PG or PSC. I think it's PSC or PCS or something like that. So what that means for you, those of you that are in Japan, you cannot sell this helmet used. You have to basically just throw it away after 5 years or whenever it breaks, or just if you want to get a new helmet. I mean, you can hold on to it, sure, if you want, but when I purchased this, I got rid of my my O'Neill helmet, and yeah, I couldn't sell it because it doesn't have the Japanese seal of approval. I couldn't sell it to a third party. I just had to pretty much just give it to the store. I was like, I'm not going to keep this, so you can go ahead and have it. So, okay, so next, getting into fit and comfort. So this helmet is fitted best for people with kind of a long oval shaped head like I do. Although I think after time, the pads, they seem very tight on the cheeks. They definitely will reduce over time, as all helmets do, the cheek pads in all helmets do. So I wouldn't worry too much about that unless you have a really, really super round head. You're going to have a lot of space in the back, and that could cause some issues with fitment. Also, noise levels will probably be pretty loud as well, as you don't have a very tight fit on the helmet. So yeah, long kind of oval shaped heads, this fits absolutely beautiful. It fits my head better than anything I've ever tried. That includes Shoei, that includes Arai, it includes just tons of different helmets that I've had in the past. All right, so the bottom though is, well, I mean, this is really up to you guys. Some people like this D-ring, some people do not. I was a little reticent about it before I purchased it, but I've really gotten used to this, and I've gotten very fast at putting this thing on, and it just hasn't bothered me at all. The other thing too is it's just less things to break here, right? I mean, this is going to be super, super solid. It's not going to break at all. Those ones that kind of ratchet in, you just got more parts there, more things that could possibly break over time. I'm not ranking on that system. It's certainly fine. It is what it is, but I was actually pleasantly surprised. So if you feel like that's going to throw you off, don't. You're going to get used to it. I really thought it was going to throw me off and I wasn't going to like it, but I've totally gotten used to it. It doesn't bother me at all. Okay, so let's get on to the visor and the shield. So this comes with a pin lock ready visor, and also inside you can see here we've got the sun visor too that kind of clicks down. This is a little rigid in my opinion. Coming down, it's really hard, which is probably good because you don't want this thing coming down while you're riding off-road. But going up, it's very smooth, very, very, very smooth. So just a nice little function to have that. All my adventure helmets that I've ever owned have had this function. I really appreciate having that sun visor. I'm not a goggle person. It just gets a little too dusty for me and too loud. So yeah, I like to have that feature. Definitely works out great. Again, pin lock ready, so you're good to go with that. All right, so let's get into some of the ventilation here. So there are essentially two vents on this. You've got an adjustable chin vent here. I believe it's a 3-stage, 1, 2, 3. So a 3-stage vent here. It's nice. You do have a little bit of foam here to filter out some of some of the dirt and dust that may get in through if you're riding off road. It works all right. It's not bad. You've got an adjustable open-close vent up here up top, which is great. This is actually kind of a feature of more expensive helmets like Shoei and Airoh. Usually, typically, the top vents are not adjustable on most helmets around this price point, and even cheaper, of course, you're not going to get that either. So overall, though, I would say the helmet is a little hot. It can get pretty stinking hot. In the wintertime, I don't have any issues at all, though. This has been great. It's been very, very warm in the wintertime. Summertime, though, yeah, it can certainly get hot at around, 35 degrees outside. And by the way, this is the Boost model. It costs a little bit more just for the graphics that are on here. I picked this up used, though. I got it used for, I think, around $250. It was a great deal. Really, really good deal, actually. Okay, so now we're done with the ventilation. So noise levels. This is a loud helmet, you guys. I'm sorry to say it. It's not going to be something like the Airoh or Shoei or, some of these other more quiet helmets. It's just loud, and especially at high speeds on the highway. I do recommend using the kind of that chin wind blocker thing. I don't know what it's called, but definitely use that if you can, if it's not too hot outside. That will certainly help, especially if you are a vlogger, you do YouTube videos and stuff. It'll help prevent that wind from getting into the mic. So, but yeah, it's loud. So you're probably gonna need some earplugs with this. Though I will say it's not as loud as my Sierra 2. That O'Neill Sierra 2 was just ridiculously loud. I mean, my ears were just bleeding by the time I was done getting off the highway. So yeah, I do recommend those of you who have sensitive ears, like I do. Definitely, you're gonna want to have some earplugs for this. Okay, next, let's take a look at the style and design, which is the whole reason why I got this helmet, you guys. I mean, this is beautiful. I love this helmet. It is absolutely so badass looking to me. I don't know, I really like that low profile look. I don't like the huge the LS2 helmets. Those things are gargantuan. They look gargantuan on me. I'm not ranking on those helmets. I'm just saying they look bad on me. This helmet, though, looks great. I love it. It's 5 stars all the way for that. The design is great. I don't notice any wind buffeting with this visor like I did with the other one. This has definitely got some breathing ports on it, so yeah, I haven't had too much wind buffeting with that. I haven't felt like my neck gets jerked around. Definitely not nearly as much as the Sierra 2 did. Again, this helmet is also lighter as well, too. The Sierra 2 is way heavier. I think it's around 1,700 grams. It's insane heavy. So this has just been a beautiful helmet in terms of weight and style. Okay, so some of the additional features that kind of set this helmet apart from the rest of the competition, and these may or may not pertain to you depending on whether you use filming equipment or whatnot. Okay, so one of the features the Airoh Commander has is it's comms ready. And what does that mean? So essentially you can see back here, you've got this kind of rubber grommet here. This actually pops out and allows the comms cable from your comms to go straight into the helmet. So no kind of pinching your cables in between the cheek pads or any of that stuff. Just a really nice clean install. I've got my Senna Spider locked in there. Great, just looks really, really nice. I love it. Another feature of this helmet too that kind of sets it apart is on top here, you guys can see there's actually a GoPro mount. This is built by Airoh, but it will fit that traditional GoPro mount, as you can see here. Let me see if I can take this thing off. Oh man, I'm killing my arms here, you guys. Yeah, you can see that right there. It just takes the traditional GoPro mounts. Well, actually, I'm sorry. I don't know if that... Yeah, that is Airoh. Yeah, it does come with it. It does definitely come with it. And you can see that I am pretty much cable ready. I've got a cable running through the top of my helmet, and it pops out here up above. So I can basically make use of this top mount anytime I want, which I have. If you guys have watched my Hokkaido videos, you can see I do have a couple areas, sections in there where I do use the top mount here. So that's really nice to have that as well too. You do have some nice mounting sections here. You can see I've got my GoPro mounts here as well. This is my little audio cable. I use the Audio Technica, by the way. It's uses this little battery pack here. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it in terms of what sets this helmet apart from the rest of the group. Everyone else, you're going to get pretty much the same thing around this price point. I do like this lip up here. This lip actually does provide quite a bit of extra sealage from, you know, the elements outside, dirt and whatnot too as well, and dust. I have not seen that on some of the cheaper helmets. My O'Neill 2 did not have that either. I do like how far this comes up as well. You can see the shape of the visor as well. It just kind of clicks in there. It kind of has this little jet that comes out. That's great. Has been very, very, very good in my opinion in terms of, you know, riding with the visor open and whatnot, and with this down. You can see that it's a very, very clean fit. When you've got this visor down, I mean, you can almost ride, especially I do this a lot. This is the way I ride off-road almost all the time. And I don't deal with any rocks hitting me at all. It's just great. This little lip here just provides just the right amount of protection. And then the amount that this comes down is just perfect. If you've got a high bridge on your nose, this may actually hit your nose. Just be aware of that. Again, it's just a fitment issue. You definitely want to try this helmet on if you're considering buying it. I went into a store and actually tried the Airoh helmet on before I bought this used. So definitely do that if you're considering buying. All right, so let's get into the price. So this helmet right now, I'm not quite sure how much. I think on some of the cheaper sites that you can purchase it on, you can get it around 300 bucks now, maybe even cheaper than that. I'm not quite sure. But in my opinion, I think it's a good helmet for its value. It's very light. It's made with that you know, that composite material, so it's very safe, super light, and it looks great. It looks really, really good. I think the helmet looks really good. So I would say from a price point, you're getting a pretty darn good helmet for how much you're paying for it. Okay, so let's talk about some of the pros and cons. So the pros of this helmet, I would say, again, it's lightweight. It's got a bunch of cool little features here and there. If you are a YouTuber, you do some motovlog stuff, this is going to be a great helmet for you. It's certainly set up for that. It's comms ready. It feels very comfortable, and it looks awesome. It just looks really, really, really good. The visors kind of give you that three kind of way of riding. You know, obviously this upper visor here is removable. You can take that off. You can turn this thing into a street helmet, an adventure helmet. You can pretty much run the gamut. So it's very, very versatile in that way. Okay, some of the cons here. Let's get into some of the cons. Some things that really bother me about this helmet. So there is initial tightness in this helmet. I was a bit worried, especially around the ears when I put in my speakers. Pretty stinking tight in there. So I actually had to go in and actually kind of scrape out the ear section a little bit to dig in the speakers a little bit further deeper. Of course, I have big ears, so that's probably why. But it does get better over time, you guys. It does. The pads do crush down a little bit over time. So you may feel like this is kind of, you know, like a mummy mask or something like that at the beginning, but it will definitely get better. The ventilation could be better. To be honest, in the summertime, certainly, it just is, it's so freaking hot. Again, not nearly as hot as my Sierra 2 was, but it definitely is hot. Again, noise is an issue. This is a super loud helmet, so you're going to need some earplugs. There are a couple videos out there that do tests on this. They run like actual noise tests, and this helmet does not do very well in terms of noise. But again, if you use that chin kind of wind blockage thing, I noticed the mic sound is actually not that bad. It's definitely better than my Sierra 2. It's an improvement over that too as well. Okay, the second thing, the cheek and shell construction is garbage in my opinion. And the reason why I say that, it is very, very thin. It is a potential weak spot on the robustness and safety of this helmet. It is extremely thin. And trying to clean the helmets is such a pain. When you take these cheek pads out, it's absolutely such a pain in the butt. You actually risk breaking the cheek pad because that's how thin this little teeny part on the cheek pad is. It's very, very thin. In fact, I'll go ahead and take it out and I'll show you guys real quick. So I think I'm going to take this side off. So you can see here there's just these little red clips. This is basically how this pops in. And this kind of hooks in the back here, so you just pull that out. And once you get that out, then you can go ahead and start removing the actual cheek pad itself, which is literally just pinched in there. That's it. That's the only thing that it's doing. All right. The Sierra 2, for comparison, was so much easier. It literally just snapped in. It was a really quick release snap system that just made the whole process so easy. Okay, so this is basically your cheek pad, and this is what I mean by it's just such a pain in the butt to get this thing off. So it's just literally wrapped around this part right here, and it's very tight. I mean, it's not super tight, but it's certainly tight enough to, you know, you can possibly damage the components. And you know, if you take this off and clean it as much as I do, I clean this after almost every ride in the summertime. In the wintertime, you know, maybe once a week or so, once every couple rides. Then you're going to be damaging. You're going to be damaging all the parts here and stuff. You can see that this foam material is all ripped up just because it's just what happens when you take this thing apart. It just happens. So this is what you would wash. You would throw it in the washer. Now, what I was talking about before about the thinness here is just this part. This part right here. You can see just how thin that is. It's insanely thin. This side has not broken, thankfully. On the other side, no, actually, yeah, it has. This has cracked a little bit. It hasn't cracked all the way through. Now, I know this would compromise the helmet, you guys. I am completely aware of that. And if you do have a crack like this, yes, it technically means you need to throw the helmet away and all that stuff. But since it's around the cheek pad area, not too concerned about it. But yeah, this is just ridiculously thin. And I think that is certainly a weak point in the design here. Just taking this thing off, ripping it off, putting it back, taking it off, putting it back on. It's just over time is going to wear this helmet down. And yeah, so that is certainly a minus to me. It's probably the biggest pain in the butt for me, because I am a stickler about keeping my helmet clean. I really like to have a clean, non-smelling helmet. All right, so let's see here. Yes, and the other thing that just bothers the crap out of me, and I've read that many people have had issues with this. You can see up here, I don't know maybe in the camera if you can see it or not, but basically I've got scratch marks on my pin lock here, and that's because this seal up here, you can see this seal right here is actually, you can actually see it rubbing off the you know, part of the pin lock. It actually rubs on the pin lock right about here and just scrapes it. And my vision is just barely looking, so at the top of my vision I can see kind of these scratch lines in there. And I've actually read online that quite a few people are struggling with this particular issue, so something to keep in mind. I don't know if it's the helmet, the way I have this on. Hopefully it's something they fixed in the Commander 2. I don't know because I haven't purchased it yet. But with that, let's go ahead and get into the Commander 2. So the Commander 2 has just been released. It is a ridiculously expensive helmet. It comes in, of course, this was expensive when it first came out too, but I think it comes in at around 500 bucks, maybe even a little bit more than that. But the Commander 2 essentially it's made with the exact same material. You have two options. You can get the full carbon, or you can get that composite material. I definitely recommend the composite material. It is very safe, and it's much, much lighter than most other helmets, but it's not at the price point of a carbon helmet. Some of the things that they fixed in that helmet, not necessarily fixed, or some of the changes they made. Overall, the design is the exact same. It looks the exact same. A lot of the features are the exact same. You're going to have that little port back here for the comms. You're going to have this little, GoPro mount up top. One of the things they did, I think, is they went to, I think they still have a D-ring, I believe. But one of the cool things they decided to do is, thankfully, they did change out this system. It is a quick release system now for emergency situations. If you get into an accident, you can just rip those cheek pads out and you're good to go. So I haven't seen any videos, anything on the website showing how this quick release system works. But my hope is that it is a lot better and improved design on these cheek guards here, because this is ridiculous right there. That is just ridiculously thin. And you can see this is not even mine. This is the company's little strips that they use. They put these on here, obviously, to reinforce. And it's just like, what? Come on, that is what's reinforcing this? So just kind of a disappointment there, in my opinion. The Commander 2 is heavier by 10 grams, which is not a huge difference. You're probably not even going to notice it. So the weight is pretty much unchanged in that way. They have obviously some new designs. I'm definitely looking at that gray and orange for my KTM 390 Venture. It's looking pretty hot. So yeah, you guys, so that's it. That is the Commander 2. Can I recommend this helmet? Definitely, if it fits your head and you love the look, I can certainly recommend it. And you're on a budget, you can't afford maybe some of those more expensive $700 helmets, then certainly the Airoh Commander is your way to go. Just keep in mind, if you are in Japan, you cannot resell this helmet. You have to literally throw it away or just keep it forever. So yeah, I can definitely recommend this helmet to you guys. So those of you that are kind of on that mid-range budget for a helmet. And yeah, if you guys have any questions about it or anything else that you felt like I missed or anything like that, then definitely leave some comments for me and I'll try to get those as soon as I can. Great, so that is it. So until next time, this is ADVinJapan, out.